Guys, I hope you had fun talking about joyous, fun new game reveals and all the awesomeness of the Game Awards, because now we get to shit all over Cyberpunk 2077, just like CD Projekt Red shat all over your hopes and dreams for this year.
My God.
It is
Keep
the
it PG-13, Mike.
Hey, listen, man, we're still hitting it. I haven't dropped the F-bomb once. If
Not
there
yet.
is a game to sum up 2020 in the way that COVID has, it is Cyberpunk 2077, giving us all the thrill and excitement of the disease that they have unleashed upon us. And I don't know which one's worse, to be quite honest. First, we're going to start with
Mike, I am
the
ready
apology.
to get down with the sickness. Rap for me, man.
Oh, God,
Jeez.
man. Man, I am riled up for this because screw them so hard. It took everything in me to not use the F word there. CDPR has started off. We're going to start it this way. We're going to go with their apology first. Days after launch day, couple days after launch day to be in fact. Quote, first of all, now mind you, this is all with a hint of bullshit. First of all, we would like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered. And, my favorite, in consequence, not allowing you to make a more informed decision about your purchase.
No, this is my favorite. This is my favorite, Mike. Please.
Please, just play it on.
There's a reason why that one is. But anyway, this is what a lot of people take note of. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on PlayStation 4 and Xbox.
Oh my God. Who read that? Who wrote that and thought that was a good sentence to put in their statement? We should have paid more attention to making it play better.
Here's an idea. Then just don't put it out for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Holy crap.
Just
Like
don't make
100 million, 150 million people are on PS4 and Xbox One. Most of the people that play
40%.
this game are going to play it on base next-gen consoles. Only 20% of
Mike,
PlayStation
stop
4
everything here.
owners also have a PS4 Pro. And you say you should have paid more attention to making it play better.
Intentionally, at many times, said that you were going to focus on last gen and make it everything it needed to be because you knew how many people were playing on those consoles and told people that they were not going to focus on next gen consoles because not as many people would be on there. And yet, here we are. I don't know where that is, but I really don't think you do either.
Fun fact.
guys,
Fun
You're
fact.
rocking a hard place, Mike.
This
Let's
game
hold back. Let's hold
was
back for a second.
originally supposed to release in April. This game was supposed to be released in April. If they weren't going to pay more attention to making it play better on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, then how are they going to release it in April and have 7 months of it only playable on PS4 and Xbox One? Not even on the next-gen consoles to improve the console experience. Forget PC.
Fun fact,
Oh my
April,
God.
it barely had any development done. But that's neither here nor there. Because I'm going to go on with their quote, because I like this next part coming up, even though we have the apologist, loving it, because it plays great. No, you're lying. We would always like everyone who buys our games to be satisfied with their purchase. We would appreciate it if you would give us a chance. But if you are not pleased with the game on your console and don't want to wait for updates, you can opt to refund at the store where you bought the game. Should this not be possible, please contact us at helpmerefund@cdprojectred.com and we will do our best to help you. Starting from today, you can contact us for a week up until tomorrow. Now, I'm going to dissect this for a second. We would always like everyone who buys our games
By
to
the
be
way, by
satisfied
tomorrow
with-
he means December 21st.
Yes, thank you. December 21st. Is the cutoff day because nobody's getting this game for Christmas. We would appreciate it if you give us a chance, but if you're not pleased, you can return the game and get a refund at the store where you bought it from. On top of the multiple issues with that last part of the statement, your game was supposed to release in 2019. Your game was supposed to release in Q1 of 2020 with 3 different dates. Your game was supposed to release in fall of 2020 with multiple dates. You hit a 2020 date finally, by God knows why, basically because you said, well, we can't say 2021 because then the memes are just going to write themselves. So all your meme calls, I guess, would go through the roof. So you decide to put out a shit product anyway. No, nobody should trust you. Nobody should give you a chance. The chance was you tell us what you are giving us and we give you money for it. Oh, you gave us shit? Well, here, give me my money back. Here is your piece of crap product. I really don't understand it. Going further with the please contact us at helpmerefund@cdprojectred.com and return to the storefront where you bought it. Nobody knew about this. You decided to say that, but Sony didn't want you to do that. Steam didn't want you to do that, and Microsoft didn't want you to do that.
No, they all denied. Every single one of them were like, now Xbox to a lesser extent because they have a little bit more of an open refund for digital purchases than PlayStation does, and PlayStation's been kind of dragged for that for a long time now. Ironically, though, they were the ones to switch face quicker, right? Change face quicker, but
well, and I think Microsoft would have, believe it or not, I think actually Microsoft, in my opinion, is more understanding and giving with these situations. I do think the marketing deal that they had going was a huge issue.
Yes, I agree.
With all this, and it continues to be. And I think Sony definitely deserves all the crap that they get for the way that they handle returns. But that said,
but also the fact that they let it get past their quality assurance.
Right, absolutely.
All of them did, right? And this goes back to what I talked about earlier, where do you draw the line, right? It's like this is one of the most anticipated games of all time. Xbox, like, what if they don't, push it away and they allow it on their console, and then PlayStation's like, no, we don't want it on our console. Now Xbox has one of the biggest exclusives ever on their console, and PlayStation doesn't know for sure. Does the day one patch fix all this? Is it going to work out maybe on day one? Do we want to take that chance?
Here's the thing. Actually, and word is on the street on this, so it's one of those things, but there's so much chatter going on right now, and there's a lot of people that I know who talk about this that I'm like, I believe this. There was apparently a promise that was whenever they did cert that they were like, no, day one patch is going to fix the majority of these issues and everything like that.
Yeah,
that was the actual.
I believe
that
it.
was the
Which is why,
talk.
because I remember seeing that people were going after Sony specifically for the quality assurance, how it got passed, and CD Projekt Red, to their credit, came out immediately after they started seeing that. It's like, no, it's not on them. It's 100% on us because we told them.
Wait. Let's not give too much credit here, because the only reason they did that is because
too much credit to them.
PlayStation and Xbox are pissed right now. You know it. PlayStation and Xbox are absolutely pissed right now at what what's happened to them, and they're being accused of because of entirely CD Projekt Red's wrongdoings. Now, granted, like you said, quality assurance aside, they believed CD Projekt Red in that they were going to get this thing working day one. Should Sony have believed it? Should Microsoft have believed it? I don't know. We don't know what happened behind the scenes there, but I don't want to give CDPR really any credit at all here.
They deserve none. This is why. So there are many reasons why, and I'm not going to pick on. I'm not going to say names, but there are people that defend it, and there are people who are defending it in the chat right now, and they don't deserve any of your support right now. And there are multitudes and multitudes of reasons for it. And I could literally spend an entire episode detailing why. God knows that Vince and I have had our one-offs on conversations, as well as I've had it with other people, and trying to explain it to people that only kind of have fleeting information of video games in general, and they're like, why is Cyberpunk getting so much crap? And explaining it takes forever because there's so many things that they've done wrong by misleading not only you as gamers, but their internal staff and their investors, which is actually going to be a big issue. Go ahead, Vince.
Yeah.
No, and the only thing I was going to say, and what's crazy is I've actually played it. I actually went and I've played the PC version. I've played on a decent rig. I actually did that a little bit more behind the scenes because I didn't want to support the game on a stream. I didn't want to talk about it or anything like that. And Mike and I have been kind of really talking about everything. And it is absolutely insane. Like, if there's an appropriate GIF right now, it's the Han Solo from Force Awakens. It's true. All of it. The amount of issues that this game has on a surface level is insane. No game ever has been this buggy, this transphobic, this racist, this misogynist, this
all in one.
It is insanity of what this game is. It is just a garbage game. And everyone knows, everyone should know from this community, I was one of the biggest hype men for this game. I was super stoked for this game. Should tell you something.
So it's not just the console ports that are an issue. I know people that have it on PC that have actually decided to wait. And their PCs are slightly better than mine. And my PC can run some games pretty decently. It's nothing, anything amazing, but years ago it was. It was 1700X with a GTX 1080. And I've not had many issues. There's actually not a game that I can't run to where it craps out on me. And their rigs can barely handle it without the stuttering and without the random pop in, as well as the bugs that are actually in the game itself. To say that the game is great and just has console issues is really not true. And even to say it doesn't have issues on next gen consoles like PS5 and Xbox One, we're seeing multiple times where a game does actually run slightly better on the PS5 than Xbox One more often than not, and yet both consoles have had their fair share of issues. I know a friend that actually just decided to stop playing it altogether and get a refund playing it on a PS5 because they've had a few times where it's crashed. Heck, people in our own community have said the same thing. So it's great to not have issues yourself, but to say that, it's this and that reason that people are just mad and they're jumping on the train. No, it is just that you are in a weird position where either it doesn't affect you or it hasn't affected you in the way that it does to everybody else.
Yeah, let's not lose the messaging here because I feel like we're getting off track. The
Right.
point is, you can ignore all that anyway. How it plays on PC really doesn't pertain to the main conversation that we're having here. In a few months, it's probably going to be great on PC. Let's be honest. They'll probably iron out a lot of the kinks, and it'll play great on PC. The point here is that they released this game after delay after delay after delay, after 7 years of hype, after originally promising it on last-gen consoles in April, and they released it in a broken state. This is not just buggy. This is borderline unplayable for most people on PS4 and Xbox One, the majority of who are playing this game. That is on consoles I'm talking about, especially. For the amount of people that have PS5 and Xbox Series X in comparison to who has base PS4 and Xbox One, it's a huge gulf there between the two. Those people thought they were getting a polished experience that they've been waiting 7 years for. And on top of that, they were lied to. Investors were lied to. Everybody, PlayStation, Xbox, were lied to intentionally, maliciously by CD Projekt Red.
This is the point, because I'm seeing certain people in the chat bring this up. It's the fact that you're lying to your investors, you're lying to customers, you're misleading customers. I mean, look, CDPR, like, I get it. I get what you're saying, Max Sandwich, that they claim that the reason why that they were working to the console patch like right up to the 11th hour, I don't buy that.
That is bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. It's known bullshit.
At some point, you have to step up and you have to say, look, the PS4 one, our current gen ports not really there just yet, guys. And you make a call. You make a call to delay it. You delay it another month. You do what you have to do. You don't put it out. After showing off all these different trailers, showing off how it runs and everything else like that, to the investors and everything else. Look, I work in one of the major like international television networks in the city. We're covering this. Like, this is a huge story that transcends gaming to where you're seeing the stock price drop down 9.5% over 2 days. They're losing billions of dollars in market value.
Exactly. So this wasn't even a good financial
this is a
decision.
Huge deal. This isn't just people who are just hating on it on the internet. This is losing people money to the point. And
let's say again here,
developers are up in arms over this.
Max,
Look at the
you
video.
kind of keep dodging the point here. I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm not trying to pick on you, but you keep saying it plays for me on Series X. We're not talking about you. We know that it plays better on Series X. We know that it runs for the most part 60 FPS and only crashes, here and there. If you were playing on PS4 or Xbox One base, you would not be saying what you're saying right now. You would not be singing the praises of this game if you were playing this on PS4 or Xbox One. That is a fact. You would not be doing it. There's no way. You might be saying there's a good game behind all this, but that doesn't matter if you can't play it for more than 30 minutes without it crashing.
Right. which is where I had the issue with all the reviews that came in with hundreds. With the amount of times, listen, if you have a review that is going to give it, and you're going to give the game 100, your tagline, your quote from the game should not be, "If you look past its bugs." That is so absurd to me, and this is what I'm talking about with the apologizing. You like everybody that is kind of coming to their defense. It's almost like you're defending something because you want to have a passion for it, like it, and it's whatever. And that's, do not defend these companies. They are companies that not only don't give a shit about you, they don't give a shit about their own staff. This is unequivocal. I am not exaggerating when I sit here and I can sit here and give an entire episode on why CD Projekt Red should not be supported from this moment currently, because of all the issues with their own team and their own staff, with the way that they lied to customers and to their shareholders, with the transphobic and racist BS that go on with it, as well as the misogyny that really goes on, not only in the game, but in the actual work culture in CDPR. There is so much that is deep in there. Just to even touch on that real quick, because someone said it's not transphobic and racist. Just a quick one-off thing. Let's go over, because you can easily find the transphobic stuff. The racism stuff is actually being kind of a shoot aside. The Voodoo Boys in the original source material in the tabletop were actually a gang of white guys pretending to be black and acting as if they were black with the racist ideas that they had of them. And it was the entire thing of Cyberpunk in its original form was actually commentary on social issues. And not one of the things in this game is a commentary on social issues other than the meta of the actual thing going on in CD Projekt Red of do not support the big corporations like CD Projekt Red. The Voodoo Boys in this game are all they definitely have accents. Are they Jamaican, or are they like they kind of have that Haitian?
They're a Haitian gang. In
Yeah,
this game.
so like they said, oh, you know what? Screw that. We're actually going to just make the Voodoo Boys black Haitians. Same thing with the Asian gang, whose name is escaping me. And it's just everything. You can go so deep into this. You can go so deep for literally hours on it. Do not apologize for them, because they do not deserve it. And you don't deserve to screw yourself over by, and ruin your own integrity by defending it. If you have played it and you're having fun because there's something good there, fine, whatever, so be it. But don't lie to yourself that this is a good company that has delivered a great product and has not lied to tons of people and hurt many, many more, including customers and staff alike.
The video is telling us to move on. But one thing I want to say real quick in response again to Max.
To the video overlord.
This is, for most intents and purposes, unprecedented. The only situation I think might be comparable to this is Skyrim on PS3. Maybe, because that game did eventually get to a point where it would crash.
Fallout 3 PS3 but yeah,
I would say Skyrim more, because that one would actually crash. Bugs are one thing, but that is known for bugs.
I had plenty of crashes with Fallout 3.
Crashing and unplayable though is another thing, and Skyrim PS3 would eventually get to that point the more you played it, right? But this game starts that way, and it's also a game that is one of the most hyped games ever made. It's kind of unprecedented, especially when you take into account all of the lying and bullshit that's been spewed, all of the investor, deception that is going on in the background. This has never happened like this before. This kind of deception.
That they weren't going to go into crunch, and then they went into crunch.
They went into crunch for a whole year and a half. And the
other
other thing too is,
didn't start development for the most part until like late 2018. The majority of teams inside CD Projekt Red didn't know that they were supposed to be starting development on this game until that point, and most of them didn't even start developing certain aspects of the game until partway into 2019. Again, you don't know, look into it yourself. Great, you're enjoying the game, fine. Actually look into it from commentary of people that worked inside the studio, as well as people that have insiders that know things that go on inside these studios.
And I'm going to say one more thing. This game is broken so much to fundamental code base that, guess what? If your game save goes above 8 megabytes, your game save is corrupted permanently.
Yeah.
You know how that happens? When you craft and you do not do inventory management. That is a broken game.
In a game where, I mean, God, if The Witcher is any indication, which I was a hoarder, and I'll be completely honest, I love hoarding in my inventory. This game would screw me. I'd be screwed in like a couple hours with the way I hoard in these games.
Olive Tree. The crunch is an issue with CDPR because they specifically said that they weren't going to do it. Yeah. If they just went and did it, that would be one thing because yes, everybody else is doing it and it's something that needs to be addressed. But they specifically came out and said, this is not something that we believe in. This is not something that we're going to be doing going forward. And then sure enough, what did they do? Year and a half went in a crunch and they still blew it.
Yeah. It's wild, and I am curious, as some people in the chat said, like, what's this going to be 3 to 6 months from now? Do people forget about it if they release a lot of great patches and then they add the Witcher 3 or Witcher 4 Siri edition? Do people forget about all this? That's an interesting question and conversation to have on another date. I think that there's actually a chance that this will have long-lasting impact on CDPR, especially if some of these lawsuits go through. So we'll have to keep an eye on all of that and see. And see what all happens. You guys didn't really vote too much on the question in the chat, unfortunately, but we asked you guys, like, should they have canceled the PS4, Xbox One versions? I just want to say real quick, I think that they should have. Yes, I think they should have just canceled the PS4 and Xbox One versions, and I think they should have done it a long time ago to try and mitigate how upset people would be from that. But I do think that they should have canceled this as soon as they possibly could, back when they knew it just wasn't going to work, which they had to know probably a year plus ago